Welcome to our Southwest Desert channel, where today we delve into one of the most gripping stories from the Southwest Desert. We'll be exploring the remarkable tale of the Manly-Bennett party and their harrowing journey through Death Valley in the winter of 1849. This is a story of perseverance, selflessness, and the triumph of the human spirit in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. Our story starts with a massive wagon train of 107 wagons, 350 people, and 500 head of livestock departing from Salt Lake City, bound for the promise of riches in the California gold fields. As is often the case with such large groups, impatience and the lure of gold soon led to fragmentation. Smaller parties broke away, eager to push ahead and reach their destination faster. Among these smaller groups was the Manly-Bennett party, led by Bennett. This group included two men who would become the heroes of our story, William Lewis Manly and John Rogers. Manly, a 29-year-old frontiersman with experience as a scout and hunter, had joined the Bennetts, likely drawn by the courage of their three young children. As Christmas of 1849 passed and the new year approached, the Manly-Bennett party found themselves crossing a desolate expanse that would later become known as Death Valley. Exhausted and running low on supplies, they reached the base of a great snow-capped mountain. It was here that they made a fateful decision: to send for help from the settlements. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest story. Please leave a like, comment, and share. For further desert adventures, hit the subscribe button. If you would like to support my time and stories, hit the super thanks heart icon below the video and contribute. This is greatly helpful. The group was lost, but driven by an instinct to continue westward. This urge had caused numerous splits in the larger party and had added to their toil and misery. Little did they know that if they had turned south, they could have saved their wagons and avoided much of their suffering. Recognizing the dire situation, the group decided to send their two strongest members to seek help. The selection was natural: Manly, the most fit at 29 years old, and John Rogers, a large, strong, and steady young man from Tennessee. With most of the dried meat from a lean ox packed in their bags, Manly and Rogers set out on foot, waving goodbye to their friends who promised to wait not over 10 days. What followed was a journey as thrilling as any work of fiction. Manly and Rogers faced near-death experiences from thirst, but eventually stumbled into green valleys near present-day Newhall. There, they were met with the warm hospitality of Californians who provided them with much-needed sustenance: beans, bread, beef, and horses. We come to a pivotal moment in our story. Manly and Rogers had reached safety. They had found the green paradise they sought. They could have chosen to stay, to pursue their original goal of finding gold and making their fortunes. There would likely have been no survivors from the group they left behind to accuse them of cowardice. But this is where the true heroism of these men shines through. Without a moment's hesitation, without even pausing to rest, Manly and Rogers turned back towards the desert. They had no blood ties to the people they had left behind. They were single men who had only ridden with the Bennetts by chance, but their code of honor, their sense of duty, would not allow them to abandon those who depended on them. Their only concern was that they had already taken 16 days to cover the 250 miles that separated them from their mission's completion. Time was of the essence, and they knew that every day could mean the difference between life and death for the Manly-Bennett party. The journey back was no less treacherous than their initial trek. All 4 horses they had been given died along the way, but in a stroke of luck that must have seemed like divine intervention, a small desert burro carried its heavy pack almost cheerfully to the desert camp and back to the green valleys. Manly, in his later writings, would repeatedly praise this sturdy animal, affectionately referring to it as a mule. This is the scene that unfolded when Manly and Rogers finally returned to the camp. Two lean, weary men in ragged, travel-soiled buckskin stood staring breathlessly at a distant group of wagons on the floor of Death Valley. Anxiety and emotion left them too faint to step forward. Had their arduous mercy mission been in vain? Were their friends dead? Had they been massacred by Indians? Or had they grown tired of waiting and struggled on afoot? Suddenly, a man emerged from under one of the wagons. He stood up, looked around, and then, in a moment of pure joy, threw his hands over his head and shouted, "The boys are here! The boys have come!" The suspense was over. The tiny group had waited patiently for 5 painful weeks, confident that our boys would return to deliver them from death. To the tear-brimmed eyes of the Bennetts and Arcanes, the little burro that accompanied Manly and Rogers must have been the most beautiful creature in the world. With renewed hope, the party prepared for the final leg of their journey. The children were loaded into makeshift pocket bags on the back of Old Crump, a steady ox. As they climbed a southern toe of the Panamint Range, Manly and Rogers offered constant encouragement. When they reached the highest ridge, the group paused and looked back over the long, narrow valley they had crossed. In the distance, they could see a wisp of smoke marking the remains of their abandoned wagon. In a poignant moment, they spoke in chorus the thought uppermost in their minds: "Goodbye, Death Valley." Although history shows that only one man of the entire 49 party actually perished on the floor of the valley, the forbidding name Death Valley stuck. But more than just naming a geographic location, this journey left an indelible mark on the annals of Western exploration. The story of the Manly-Bennett party stands out among the many tales of the California gold rush. It's a testament to human resilience, to the bonds that form between strangers in the face of adversity, and to the heights of selflessness that individuals can reach. William Lewis Manly, in particular, emerges as a figure of almost mythic proportions. In his book Death Valley in '49, written in 1893, Manly recounts the events with a modesty that only adds to his stature. Unlike many accounts from pioneers that dwelt on hardships and desperation, Manly's narrative is imbued with a triumphant optimism and an unwavering confidence in the human will to survive. Their story is a powerful reminder of the impact that individual choices can have. In a situation where it would have been easy, and perhaps even understandable, to prioritize their own survival, Manly and Rogers chose to honor their commitment to their fellow travelers. They exemplify the kind of heroism that doesn't seek glory or recognition, but simply does what is right, because it is right. It's important to place this story within the broader context of the California gold rush. This was a time of great upheaval and opportunity, where fortunes could be made or lost in an instant. The lure of gold drew people from all walks of life, from all corners of the country and beyond. It was a journey that tested the mettle of even the hardiest individuals. The Manly-Bennett party's experience was not unique in its hardships. Many who set out for California faced similar challenges: harsh terrain, unpredictable weather, limited supplies, and the constant threat of illness or injury. What sets their story apart is the way they faced these challenges, not just with determination, but with a sense of community and mutual responsibility. It's worth considering what lessons we can draw from this remarkable story. In our modern world, we may not face the same physical hardships as the Manly-Bennett party, but we still encounter situations that test our character and our commitment to others. The story of Manly and Rogers reminds us of the power of perseverance, the importance of keeping our promises, and the impact that selfless actions can have on the lives of others. It challenges us to consider, in our own lives, are we willing to go the extra mile for others, even when it's difficult or inconvenient? Let's remember that while the era of wagon trains and unexplored territories may be behind us, the spirit of exploration, courage, and mutual support that defined the best of that time is still relevant today. The story of the Death Valley 49ers, and particularly of William Lewis Manly and John Rogers, continues to inspire us to rise to our best selves in the face of adversity. Thank you for joining us on this journey through a remarkable chapter of American history. Until next time, keep exploring, keep persevering, and above all, keep looking out for one another. Please leave a like, comment, and share. For further desert romps, hit the subscribe button. If you would like to support my time and stories, hit the super thanks heart icon on the bottom of the video to contribute. Happy trails!